It's the weekend and you have financial questions that need answering. That can only mean one thing. It's time for Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome, welcome. It's the Jill on Money Show, the program that attempts to take the mystery out of your financial life. Now, how do we do that? Well, we encourage you to head to our website, which is called, coincidentally, JillOnMoney.com. And when you're on that website, what you'll see is a Contact Us button. All you need to do is click the button and you complete the form and just let us know if you would like to come on the air live with us. And then Mark does everything else. It's that easy. While you're on the website, a couple things to keep in mind. Number one, you should sign up for our free weekly newsletter. It's like the tune-up before this program begins. Number two, check out my new book. It's called The Great Money Reset, and it really was partially inspired by the conversations that I had with people like you, the people who were really considering big changes in their lives. So, by the way, thank you for that, because it's nice to have inspiration. All right, about that inspiration, let's get to one of your questions. We are joined by Jack, who's on the line from Massachusetts. What brings you to us today? How can we help you out?
Well, let me begin by just thanking both of you. I love everything that you guys do, and it's just an honor to be with you this morning. So our situation is kind of interesting. My wife and I live outside of Boston, as you mentioned, and pre-COVID, we both worked full-time. We have 2 kids. And then in the summer of 2020, when we learned that our kids were going to be dealing with remote learning and being home a couple of days a week, I decided to take a leave of absence from my job as a teacher and stay home with the kids. And during that year, we learned that we really enjoyed that arrangement. And so we decided to extend it for a second year. And so I recently decided that I'm returning to work this coming September. And one of the interesting things is that we essentially found out that we could get by okay financially just on my wife's salary for those 2 years. And so we're looking at this anticipated income that I'll be bringing home starting in the fall as bonus money, if you will, this additional income that we can maybe tackle some financial goals that we had been holding off on. So,
wow, this is an interesting story. So how much does your wife earn right now?
So my wife, she earns around $400K.
Whoa, I love your wife. That's my girl. That's what I'm talking about. Does she work like a maniac?
She does, unfortunately. Yeah.
Okay. And how old are the kids?
The kids are 11 and almost 9.
So you're going back to work right when they're going to turn into terrible teenagers. Are you sure you want to do this? Are you okay?
And nice employer, 2-year leave of absence.
Yeah. So how did that work? Like, are you a public school teacher or a private school teacher?
I'm a private school teacher.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no pension.
Amazing. No pension, Jill.
Okay. That's all right.
Yep.
So let's just do a few other things. How old are you guys?
Sure. We're both 45.
She's maxing out her 401k, correct?
Correct.
Pre-tax or post-tax?
It is all pre.
Okay. So traditional.
Yep.
All right. Now, let's talk about a couple of other aspects of this. Let's just do this based on your $400,000, your wife's $400,000. In addition to that 401k, did you guys save any money on that 400 grand or not?
During those 2 years that I wasn't working?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So we really didn't change, kind of our month-to-month spending. We continued to do our savings. So, for instance, we contribute to a brokerage account every month. We continue to contribute to 529. So those things continued as they had been, before I stopped working.
Okay, hold on. How much do you contribute to the brokerage account?
$2,000 a month.
And how about the 529s?
$3,000 a month total.
Wow, that's amazing. You guys are socking this away. You have an emergency reserve fund, right?
We do.
How much is in there?
There's $60K.
Good. Tell us about the house.
Sure. So the house we're in, we've been here for 7 years. It's worth about $900,000.
Mm-hmm.
The mortgage outstanding is $430 at 2.875%. It was a 20-year. It was before I started listening to you. So there's 18 years left.
Okay.
Mortgage.
That's fine. And you're staying there, right? I mean, this is a house that you love.
Well, that's one of the things that we're considering here, Jill, and we can get into this, if we want to, but we're finding that we're starting to grow out of it just a little bit. We definitely could stay here, no question about it. That would be fine. But if it's an option for us, we've looked at other houses. We want to stay in our town, bigger houses in town, or, looking into putting an addition on this home.
Okay. All right. Let's do a little bit more. Jack, your retirement account. I know you haven't contributed lately, but what's in and through the school, is it a 403B or a 401k?
It's a 403B.
How much is in there right now?
$387.
Okay. That's great. And what about your wife's 401k?
$222.
Is there an old IRA somewhere?
There is. She also has a rollover that has $228. I also have, I did a normal IRA this past year when I was out of work. So I put the $6,000 into that last year.
How much is in the brokerage account right now?
$109.
Any other debt besides the mortgage?
Her graduate school loans.
How much is outstanding on that?
$125.
Come on. Why'd you mess up my whole beautiful picture?
It started at over 500.
Oh my God. You're kidding.
I swear.
Mark, lift your chin up.
Is she a doctor?
She is.
Yeah, of course she is. All right, let's just do the 529 accounts. How much are in those accounts right now?
Sure. Yeah. So those each have $45K in them.
Kids are in public or private school right now?
They're in public school and they will be through high school.
Okay, good. What's the goal for college? Do you want to try to pay for private, public? What are you thinking?
Yeah. So our goal is to make it an option to be able to pay for 4 years of private.
Your wife's 45. She's a doctor. I don't know what kind of doctor she is, but is she the kind of doctor that's going to have some longevity? Can she work for a while?
She can. Yeah. You hear my hesitation there. I mean, I think she can. And the goal would be, or the expectation is, to certainly work until 60, 62, 65, somewhere in that range. But, I think we would love to scale back when it's an option.
Jack, when you go back to work, how much will you be earning?
Yeah. So I make 100. I think that, realistically after, paying for benefits and maxing out my own 403B, we'll probably have like an extra $5,000 kicking around each month.
Mark, you ready to do this whole house thing? Because I'm not happy about it. You know that. Why don't we let Mark steer the ship on the home and the renovation? So, Mark, go for it. Ask him all the questions. Ask Jack and his wife, Frida, what they want to do.
Well, why are you so against it?
I don't know, because I feel like things are going great. Now they got to start doing this whole thing.
Well, here's the question Jill would ask. What would it cost to get the house that you guys really want to be in?
So I think that the interesting thing is whether we do a reno or whether we move to another house, I think that it's probably going to cost us roughly $400K, after we account for the sale of this house. Our new mortgage would probably be, $400,000 more than it is now.
And you're saying you have to spend $400,000 on the reno itself?
It's crazy, but I swear to you, we've had numerous, and we're not even doing anything all that wild. But yeah, it's nuts. But that's also.
What are you doing? Hold on, I have to jump in. What are you doing? You're doing a kitchen and 3 bathrooms, and then putting on something else. What else are you doing?
Well, honestly, it would probably end up being less than 1,000 extra square feet, which isn't nothing. But it's probably a kitchen and then like a master bedroom above that and another bathroom.
That's a bad way to spend money, I got to tell you.
Well, that's why we haven't done it yet.
We'll get back to Jack in just a minute. If you would like to come on the program, just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. It's that easy. We'll be right back.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, the show that tries to help you make better financial decisions. You don't have to make perfect decisions. It just has to be a better one. And sometimes some of you come on the air with us and you're in fantastic shape. Other people, not so much. And we don't care. Mark and I are both certified financial planners. And that means that the training that we have had is really about talking to a person as a person, not just a balance sheet, or not just someone who's got a bunch of money to invest or not to invest. So tell us your story and let us know how we can help you out. All you need to do is go to our website. It's JillOnMoney.com, JillOnMoney.com, and you click the Contact Us button. And when that form pops up, you complete the form. And if you're shy, you don't have to come on the air. We'll answer emails every so often. And if you would like to join us, just check that box, and Mark does everything else. Now, while you're on the website, check out our brand new service. It is a subscription service, so it takes a little bit of money, but just a little bit. It's called Jill on Money Live. For $35, you will have access to quarterly live webinars and more special content. So we're developing that. It's early days. Our first webinar was amazing. Join us for our next one. It's going to be a lot of fun. So check that out. All of that is on our website, JillOnMoney.com. Okay, so right now we're going to get back to Jack in Massachusetts. If you missed the first segment, he was questioning how to handle a little bit of extra cash flow. So let's get back to Jack. Can we do something less than, I mean, it's tough to make an investment of 400 grand to get 1,000 square feet.
I know.
It really is. So is there something we can do to make the house nicer, more livable, and like scale something else in? In other words, can you do your bathroom and your kitchen and fritz the house up for 200, not 400?
Probably. Yeah, probably 200 and change. You know, we probably don't get much more additional living space with that, but it's a nicer spot.
Dude, your kids are already 9 and 11. Like, come on. Do they each have their own bedrooms?
They do. Yep.
Are they same sex or not?
They are. Yep.
Oh, well, let's put them in the same room together anyway. Let's make that happen. That's a good way to start fighting between sisters. Here's what I would do. I would save up to do the house stuff. Okay. You have right now, you said you had 100 grand, 109,000 in your brokerage account. And I get that that's sort of all at risk right now, but let's just say, why don't we try to save some money and stockpile some cash in that account, right? You're going to start working. When you start working in the fall, start building up your cash. And then let's see if we can start to get you towards that $200,000 number in the brokerage account so that you can self-finance this project. And I would not do it until I had at least 200 in the brokerage, by the way, because whatever you decide to do, it's going to be more than you think. I think that's a bad trade to make a $400,000 investment in a house right now in that. Like, honestly, I think you'd be better off doing cosmetic, doing this, that, and the other thing. You already have the kids there. You're not going to be able to do any of this for a couple of years anyway. And let's see, maybe your wife continues to kick ass. Maybe that instead of making 400 grand, she'll be making 600 grand and we can accelerate this whole thing. I don't know. I don't think that it's a great idea. You're on track. You've done a great job of saving. You are saving a lot of money. Candidly, for people who make $500,000 a year, you have money, but you don't have tons of money given all the goals that you've laid out. Doesn't that mean of me to say that?
No,
Mark? I feel bad.
Yeah, no, we know.
I am a dream crusher. Well, let's just do a quick balance sheet for a second, okay? Let me just look. Forgetting about the house for a minute. He's got 390, let's just call it 400 in retirement assets. She's got 450 in retirement assets. So we got 950. They're 45 years old, Mark. They're not like kids. You got 950 in retirement assets. You got the money that's in the brokerage. It's going to be spent. The 529 plan is going to be spent. You're like these, you're like the hamster on the wheel. If you ever want the chance to be able to say to your wife, like, I want you to slow down. She will not have a chance if you're going to spend 400 or 500 grand doing this next house. There's no way. You rob yourself of that ability. So you tell me she hates her house so much that she's saying, you know what, I'm working till 65 no matter what. And you are too, by the way. And you're paying for private university. You know what? Then that's your choice. I would never make such a choice because I like options. Everybody who listens to this program knows this. Mark is you're more in the same category, Mark. You're the one who's considering a move.
As I listened to this, I was just thinking, so now I'm thinking, Jill, you probably think that we shouldn't move.
I don't think you should move. And I've never thought you should move. You've never asked me.
I have.
No, you didn't ask me whether you should move. We talked about moving. We talked about different areas. The only way. All right. So let's just make this about Mark for a second. So stand by, Jack. Mark, you live in a much smaller dwelling than I bet Jack and Frida live in.
Yeah, we're not in a house.
You're not in a house. So here's the issue for Mark. He lives in a small, how many square feet is your apartment? 1,100? 1,200?
1,200.
All right. He lives in a 1,200 square foot apartment with one child. I think that if you were having a second child, moving to a bigger space makes sense. However, there are other things that are going on. Things like you are in an area where you really want to be, that your in-laws have moved here from China to be near you. And so just moving out of the city and to a new neighborhood is a little bit dicey right now while they're aging. And you do have the ability to stockpile just tons of money right now because your spouse is making so much money and you are not because you work with me, but you're making good money. You've never really asked me, do I think that you should move? Like, I don't think you should move unless there is a compelling reason to move. To just get more space right this second, I don't know. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
It's not the space, it's the neighborhood.
You're done with the neighborhood. I get it. So, Jack, you live outside Boston. Did you live in the city at any point in your life?
We did after we got married. Yeah.
How did you feel making the move to the suburbs?
You know, we enjoy it now. We should have stayed in the city a couple more years.
So I think this is what I think, Mark. I think that moving right now doesn't make a ton of sense, but I do think that there is, I understand that like in the next, say, call it 3 to 5 years, there are some ideas about maybe moving, but I wouldn't do it right now. So that would be that's my 2 cents. Thank you. I've spoken. Jack, should Mark move or not?
Oof. I'd wait for the second kid.
Oh, yes. Well, okay. So Jack, when is it that like you have to start really worrying with the kids running around? What age do you think, like, would you say was would have been ideal for you to stay in the city with kids? What do you think?
I think so long as, they're not, if you want to send them to public school, then, you got those first 5 years or so to figure it out.
And Mark, you know where you want to send them to public school for the first 5 years, don't you?
First 5 years, all the way through 8th grade.
I mean, if you've got a school in your neighborhood that is through 8th grade, I don't see why you would move. That's just me. Thank you very much. We're done with this conversation. Jack, tell us about your life insurance. Do you have some?
Absolutely, we do. Yes, we each have $1 million.
Your wife probably needs a little more.
Yeah,
interesting.
I thought you might say that.
So, Joe, what's the priority? Saving for the renovation or whacking down the loans?
I would actually, you know what? No, I'm going to say the renovation. That it'll make you feel better. It'll make you feel better.
So if we have extra $5,000 every month, you're saying put all of that into the brokerage account?
Let's do half in the brokerage account and half pay down the grad school loan.
Do you want them investing it or just put it in cash to pay for the renovation?
Cash.
Okay.
Cash.
All right.
So right now in your brokerage account that you have $109,000 and some of that is emergency reserve, you leave the emergency reserve alone, but whatever, it's cash. And so of your $5,000, $2,500 a month extra on the grad school and $2,500 goes into cash. If your wife gets some sort of bonus or starts making a lot more money, then put the more money in the brokerage account. How about the wills and trusts and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, those are all good.
You're in good shape. I'm feeling good about it. Let us know what happens. I want to see a picture of this terrible $900,000 house that you don't like. It's
Thanks,
horrible.
Jill. Thank you, Mark. You guys are the best.
If you are lucky enough to have extra cash flow and you want to know what to do with it, we'd love to help you out. All you need to do is go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, JillOnMoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. While you're on the website, you might as well subscribe to our 2, not 1, but 2 podcasts. One is called Jill on Money. The other one is called Money Watch. We have links to both of them. All of our content lives at our website, JillOnMoney.com. We'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your financial life. Let's go to Erin, who's from Seattle.
My husband and I are 42. We have young kids and both working. Our number one question is, are we on track for retirement? I showed my husband our pension amounts. I pretty much told him he has to work till he's 67, and he kind of freaked out a little bit.
Oh no!
So I'd like to verify my information. I have a couple other questions too, but
okay,
that's
so
kind of the main one.
Okay, Aaron, how much do each of you guys make right now?
I make 160, and he makes about 150.
Okay, great. And you are both entitled to a pension when?
Well, it depends when we take it, what the amount is. But
yeah, but when were you first eligible for it?
our pension, we could take out at 65.
Okay. At age 65, what would your pension be, you, Aaron, and then what would his pension be?
Well, I don't like it. I like the pension amount at 67 better, but at this point, it's about a little over 2,000.
Okay, and for him?
A little under 2,000, so 1,700.
Okay, got it. Now, give us the 67 time horizon.
Yeah,
what would that be?
It's a lot more. My pension at 67 would be pretty much 5,900 a month.
Wait.
Yeah.
How does it? I don't understand. Wait a minute. Mark, did you see that? Like, wait, what? Wait, what? So is that?
Doesn't sound right.
It doesn't sound right to me either. Are you sure?
Well, we work in education, and that's we're administrators, but we're part of the teachers' retirement system. Yeah, I think it's a difference. I double checked it, and for him too, it's 5,300. So that's why I told him 67 sounds a lot better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Is it because there is some benchmark that would be like 30 years in the system? Like, is there some?
No.
Is it like no?
No.
Well, that's a no-brainer.
This is like really is a no-brainer. I'm sorry for your husband.
I know. He's going to be so good at retirement. He's like king of hobbies. And I'm like, I could work forever. But he was pretty disappointed when I shared those numbers with him.
I mean, what I would do is this, just because, like you said, you double checked. I would talk to someone like, do you have someone in like a union representative who does this stuff like all the time? I want to triple check this because I've never seen a jump like that in a municipal pension ever.
Yeah. Yeah. We have a financial advisor who's very familiar with the educator pension system. That's only half of it though. We also, I think it's called a defined benefit. It's like a savings account for retirement, right? It's not a 401k or anything, but we also have money in that account.
You mean a defined contribution? I think was what you mean. Like so your pension is a defined benefit plan.
Okay.
So this would be a defined contribution, probably a 403B. Is that what it is?
We have a 403B, but this is part of the retirement system. I have 180,000 in that account. I contribute 7%, and my husband contributes 7%. He has 148,000. And so that's like, it's been described to us as pretty much like a savings account for us.
Okay. So this is an extra, a defined benefit. This is quite a game plan. First of all, 7% is good. So what's in the 403Bs?
I have a Roth 403B through work, and that's $26,000 right now. I contribute $500 a month. My husband has a 403B that only his work contributes to. We don't contribute anything to it. They put in $500 a month. So that's just awesome. $16,000 in that account. We also have some other accounts, some IRAs, rollover IRA, Roth IRA. Do you want those numbers?
Yeah, why not? Give us the, so first let's do the pre-tax IRAs. So those would be your rollovers.
I have a rollover with 10 grand in it. My husband has a Roth IRA, 41,000. My husband has just a regular IRA at 15,000. And
how about cash? What about like little cash on hand?
Yeah, we have about 115,000 for cash on hand.
115, not one. Okay, got it. Great. Yeah. That's fantastic.
And then a brokerage account with 23,000.
So if he were to retire before age 65, there's a 0 pension, is that right? Or you can't collect it until you're 65?
I don't know.
Let's find that out. I don't think it's 0. What I would like to find out, here's my big question for the benefits folks. If my husband worked how many years does he have in the system right now?
I would say like 18.
Okay. Here's a question. If my husband were to work until he was 60, okay, and he would have then, 36 years into the system, right? So that's a lot of years in. If he works until he's 60, and he then stops working, can he still collect his pension later at age 67 at $5,300 a month? That's what I want to know.
I want to know that too. That's a great question.
Because then we could get him out. I have a feeling that it's not so much he has to keep working. It's just that he can't collect until he's 65 or 67, which would make a ton of sense. Having like a cliff for your pension makes zero sense, meaning that I don't think that's how most municipalities roll. Let me ask you a couple more questions. First of all, how much money do you guys spend? You save a lot of money, make over $300,000 together. It's a lot of money. How much do you really need to live on?
Yeah, we were talking about that last night. We really need to figure that out. I will say that we have about, at the end of every month, we have about $1,000 to $2,000 that we can set aside into savings.
No state income tax in the state of Washington. I do know that. You have some kids?
We do. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I forgot about them. Gosh, I forgot all about them. Okay. So how old are they?
We have a 3.5-year-old and a 6-year-old. And I did want to chat about that, their 529 accounts a little bit too.
What do we have in there?
Well, we have an account for both of them, and then their grandparents have one. So combined, the 6-year-old has $26,000 in hers.
Okay.
And the 3.5-year-old has about $20,000 in hers. So question is, when do we just kind of set it and forget it and let it grow?
And right now, how much are you contributing to those 529s? Do you do it on ad hoc or do you do it on a regular basis?
We do $200 a month for each child, and so do their grandparents.
I'm trying to figure out how much you really need to live on. See, that's really where I am right now. We'll get back to Erin in just a minute. It's the Jill on Money Show, JillOnMoney.com. We'll be right back.
.401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. Let's get back to our caller, Erin from Seattle. Tell me about the house.
Yeah, we just bought a new house 6 months ago. It's our forever house. We love it.
How much?
The real estate market here is just blowing up. So it's already gained in value by quite a bit. I bet we could sell it for over $1.5 million.
Oh my God. What's the mortgage balance?
$678,000.
And the mortgage interest rate?
3.25.
30-year, right? And it is your forever. Okay, great. All right. I'm just doing a quick take here. You are contributing quite a bit of money to retirement. So I just want to make sure I understand this. So you're putting away the 7% into the defined benefit plan of each of your salaries. So we have that. So hold on a second. So 310, I'm doing some back of the envelope, 310, 7%. So that's 21 grand. And then you're also putting in $500 a month into your Roth, right? Okay. And then your guys are putting $400 a month into your 529, right?
That's right. And then in addition, my husband's school district puts in $500 a month to 403B.
Got it. I got it. So that's all, but I'm just trying to count up how much money you guys are putting away. Because what I'm trying to figure out is what you actually are living on. Because it seems to me you are doing really well. So there's 32,000 plus, let's call it another 1,500 a month that you have extra. So of your 310, what it looks to me like is that you've got about 50 grand a year in saving. How about that, Mark? Pretty good, huh? And so if we look at that, so we say 310, I'm going to give you a tax hit of that, 250, 200. Would it be surprising for you to learn that you are living on something close to 15 grand a month? Does that sound like too much or too little?
No, I'm not surprised. We live in a high cost area and have pretty high daycare costs as well.
Yeah. So okay.
I'm not surprised, unfortunately.
That's not bad. It's not that and you can afford it and you're saving a ton of money. So now here's why am I doing that little exercise? Because I'm looking at your age 67. Okay. And by the way, when you get pensions, will you also get Social Security? Will you be entitled to that as well?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, good. So if we look at just your pension amount at age 67, it's $11,200 a month. Then you guys will also probably have, I don't know, another, I'm going to guess, $6,000 a month, Mark, for Social Security. Does that sound right at their age? Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Okay. So now we're basically pre-tax got $18,000 a month for you guys. And we know that you're saying $15,000 a month is what you need, but it's a funny thing because in some respects, some of your costs could actually go down in the future. But okay, we're set for you. You're great. You're in great shape. So yes, you're on track. I really think that if we can answer this question about your husband's pension, things will be crystal clear for me. So what I really want you to find out is this. Husband works till 60. He does not collect pension till 67. What is that amount? That's what we want to know. Now, Mark, what do you think about all the money that's going into retirement right now? Should we continue with this? Should we change it? What's your opinion?
If it turns out that those pensions are indeed those big numbers, I think maybe you can redirect a little bit elsewhere into some, into a brokerage account.
Right. That's what I'm thinking, because what I'm considering is this. I don't mind the defined benefit, the 7%. Is that compulsory? Do you have to do that, by the way?
We're locked in. Yeah, we did have some flexibility early on, but now we're locked in.
Okay, that's fine. So what I would be doing is this. Let's find out the answer to the question first and foremost. What is his pension amount? Just whatever it is, and then you're going to get back in touch with us. You've got this extra let's call it $1,000 a month right now. Mark, should that money go into the brokerage account or in the 529 account?
No, I would do the brokerage. I would keep doing the $200 that they're doing per kid, and the grandparents are doing that. So each kid's getting $400 a month. I think that's a good number.
Yeah, I do too. And I think that if you come back to us and you say to me, oh yeah, we're golden. It'll be $6,000 for me. It's going to be $5,000 for him. We're good at 67. Then the reason why we're advocating building up your brokerage account is that you're going to have an interesting period where, let's say at his age 60 to age 67, we're going to need some extra money that's flowing into the household. And we want that extra money to be either he's tinkering around and getting a job doing something that's super fun and really stress-free, or you've got plenty of money in the brokerage account. One way or another, what's going to happen is that 18 years in the future, both of your kids are done with college. Mostly, just about, right? Because a 3.5-year-old. I think that what I'd like to know is where exactly do we stand on the pension for him to give him some relief? Here's one last question for you. Mark, should you be the person who starts asking the annoying, nudgy questions about estate and life insurance?
No, they know to expect it from you.
Okay, here we go. Erin, tell me that in your role as a school administrator, you know how to dot I's and cross T's, meaning, have you done your estate planning? Do you have wills? Do you have guardianship instructions? Do you have healthcare proxy? What do you got going on?
We've just drafted that with the lawyer, and we're signing all the documents next month.
I feel so happy. We'll wrap up with Erin in just a minute. It's Jill on Money, trying to help you make better financial decisions. Jill on Money will be right back. You're back. It's Jill on Money. And before we wrap up the hour, we want to return to our listener, Erin. She is from Seattle in her 40s. She's got these young kids, and we want to find out, are they on track? What about life insurance? What have you guys got?
Well, that's another question I have for you. We currently have 600,000 for each of us, but since we got those policies, our income has increased, and so have our expenses. So wondering if we need to increase our life insurance policies.
Do you have this as a term policy right now?
Yes.
So I would. Mark, how much do you think they each need?
Probably $1 million.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking $1 million each. So if you could get 400 grand, and don't go crazy, you can get it for 15 years. You can do a 15 or a 20-year policy. Really, we're just trying to get you to a point where the kids are really taken care of and God forbid anything happens. So I think an extra 400 grand would be perfect, and do it really cheap, term policies. I guess the other question is that for all intents and purposes, if you were to pass away, what happens to the pensions? How do those work? Do you know?
Never thought of that question. I'll
would
put that on my list.
Yeah, when you're talking to the person who's going to tell us the answer to the question about your husband's pension, let's also find out and say, hey, what happens, God forbid, I drop dead tomorrow? What is my pension benefit to my husband? Because maybe, just maybe, if there is some pension amount that goes to the survivor, maybe we don't need the life insurance. I don't know. You probably still need the coverage, but I'm interested anyway to know that, okay?
Yeah, I'm really interested too.
If you, like Erin, want us to weigh in and see what's going on in your financial life, make sure that you got the right game plan. Just go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. That's all you need to do. If you check the box at the end of the form, Mark does everything else. We'll be right back.
It's the weekend, and that can only mean one thing. You're listening to Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's hour number 2 of the Jill on Money show. And if you've got a financial question, we'd love to hear from you. All you need to do is go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and we'll get your note. If you want to appear with us, then you've got to check the little box at the bottom of the form, and then Mark does everything else because he's fabulous. While you're on the website, a few things to consider. Number 1, check out all the great content that lives there. We have this radio show, but we also have 2 other programs. They're podcasts. One is called Jill on Money. The other one is called Money Watch. There's also my blog. So when you have a big thing in the news, like, let's say, a bank failure, I usually write pretty extensively about that. So you can check that out under the blog. There are my past television appearances. There is a resources section. There's just so much there. Okay, so right now it is time to turn to you. And today we are joined by Kay from California. Hi, Kay. How are you? What can we do for you?
Hi, Jill. Thank you. Yes, I would like to know if me and my husband have saved enough for retirement.
Okay. Tell us about yourselves.
Yes, I am 40 years old and my husband is 46. We both working in the same place.
Oh, in the same company?
Yes.
Very good. 40 and 46. How much do you guys earn together?
We both total earn $220,000 a year.
How do you feel on that level of income? I know you live in a high cost area, but how's your cash flow? How do you feel?
We live comfortable life and we enjoy living in California. I know it's a lot tax and everything else is expensive, but we enjoy living here because we live close to our family.
Oh, well, that means something. Okay. It really does. Okay. So let's go into some details, Kay. You make $220,000 a year. Do you both use retirement accounts?
Yes. We both have 401k and 457, and also we have a pension.
Ooh, you both have. All right, so let's do it at one by one. So you have 401k. How much is in your 401k?
I have 106,000 at the moment.
106,000. Okay. What about the 403b? I mean the 457.
457, I have 67,000 at this time.
Okay. 67,000. Okay. How much longer do you have to work to get that pension benefit, and what will it be in the future?
Per my contract, I will have to work until I am 57, and it will have generate $100,000 annually for my pension. Yes.
Whoa. That's huge. Okay. Let's do the husband's. How much does he have in a 401k right now?
He have a combined 457 and 401k, total $100,000.
Okay. And what's his pension look like?
He will earn 89,000 pension.
Same thing at age 57?
No, he will retire at 50. So he have been with the company for about, yes, exactly. Okay. He's been 19 years with him.
Will he actually retire when he's 50? And that's only 4 years away.
He planning to retire at 50 because he said that he wanted to do something else, like work in a different place. Yeah, that's a part-time.
That's cool. That's cool. You're both maxing out your 401ks, or how are you managing the what are you putting away in the 401k and the 457 plans? Well, how much of your salary are you putting away right now?
So for me, I put in 1,700 into, currently I just do Roth only. It's 401k Roth, and 457, I also do a 1,700 every month. And my husband, he did 1,500 into his 401k, 500 into a Roth 457.
Okay. So when you gave me those numbers, 106,000 in a 401k and 67,000 in a 457 plan, is your 401k, is most of that 106 in Roth, or is it in traditional?
In a traditional, most of them, yes.
So you just started really doing the Roth more, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, got it. Okay. Do you guys have some kids?
Yes, I do. I have 2 kids. The oldest is 15 years old. The youngest is 7 years old.
Are you putting money away for education for them, or are you planning and praying and hoping that they stay in the California system?
I am concerning right now because they're balanced in 529. I use New York 529. And the 15-year-old, I have 24K for them. And the 7 years old, I have the 11,000 for him.
Okay.
And I know that's very low balance. I just wish I can.
Don't worry. You're doing great. Don't worry. You're doing great. Okay. So tell me about do you have a cash account, like an emergency reserve account?
Yes. So for my husband account, he have in his saving 50,000. I have in my saving 50,000. And then with the credit union, I have another 20,000. So total, I just counted as 70,000, but we actually have almost 100,000 cash.
That's a lot. I mean, you guys are in jobs that are pretty secure, right?
Yes.
Do you want to put some of that money into the 529 plan?
I do, but at the same time, I'm afraid that if I need something to use it later on, I might have to pull it from the 529.
Tell me about the house. Where do you live? In a house? You rent? Do you own?
Yes, I own a home, my primary home. Currently, I pay $2,700 a month. I just refinance.
Hold on a second. How much is the house worth?
The house worth right now is $550,000.
And what's the mortgage that's outstanding on the house?
$330,000.
And that you just refinanced, right?
It's correct. Yes.
What's the rate?
1.75%.
What? Is it a 15 year? Is it a 15 year?
15 year, yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That is a crazy number when you see that. Anything else? Do you have a brokerage account do you have a second property? What's going on for you guys? What else?
Yes, I do have a rental property that I pay by itself. And that rental property, I bought it was $224,000. And I just refinanced last year as well, was 2.875% at 15 year. I know I did it wrong. I should just do 30 year.
Whatever, it's done. So how much is it worth? How much is it worth?
It's worth 480,000.
And what is the mortgage that you refinance? How much is outstanding?
The mortgage is right now is 240.
When you said you make $220,000 a year, did that include the income from the rental property?
No, it does not. I don't count that. Yes.
How much income do you take out of that property a year?
A year I will earn like 20,000.
Okay. So is that the money that you've been using to push into your cash account?
Actually, I did not use any because that property just pay itself. I did not even earn any percentage from it because it's just paid back to the mortgage, to the lender.
So you're saying the 20,000, it's not like you're making it. You're saying you're using the rental income that's generated pays for the house, the upkeep of the house.
Yes, correct.
I got you. I got it. Okay. And you're not making any extra payments on either mortgage right now, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. We'll get back to Kay in just a second. It's the Jill on Money Show, the program that attempts to take the mystery out of your financial life. We'll be right back.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, the program that is trying to help you make better financial decisions. And we do that because you get in touch with us. The easiest way to do so is go to our website, jillonmoney.com. When you're there, you'll see a Contact Us button. Click that button, complete the form, and if you would like to join us live, then you just check that little box at the bottom, and Mark does everything else because he's fabulous. While you're on the website, you should sign up for another one of Mark's fabulous creations, the free weekly newsletter, which comes out every single Friday. And I think of the newsletter as a way to tune up for the weekend. Mark does the work for you. He goes through whatever the big stories and the big personal finance stories that have come up throughout the week, and he sends them all together. He aggregates it into a single newsletter. So sign up for the Jill on Money weekly newsletter. Also on the website, the book, The Great Money Reset, Change Your Work, Change Your Wealth, Change Your Life. In this book, I adapted the conversations that I had with many of you during the pandemic and brought it to you in book form. So you'll find 10 bold steps to turn chaos into opportunity. Okay, well, that's enough of that for now. Let's turn back to Kay from California. If you missed the first segment, Kay's in her 40s. She wants to know about retirement, wants to know if she's on track. Do you have life insurance?
I do have a life insurance. My husband have the 500,000 life insurance, and it's 30-year term, and I do have a term life insurance as well, and it is only 300,000.
I mean, you're probably a little light on life. Can you buy more insurance through work, life insurance?
We both bought it from our work. It's a group life insurance.
Okay. Can you buy more or not?
I think that's it. That's only higher is the $300,000.
Okay. All right. I understand. You're in great shape for retirement, so don't worry about that. Let me start with that. Easy. The thing that's fascinating to me is that, look, you're going to have pensions, okay? And right now, if I look at, the amount of money that you guys are saving, just let's look at your retirement savings. You're putting in this $1,700 a month in your 401k, $1,700 a month in the 457, right? So that's $3,400. And then your husband's also putting $1,500 a month away. So you're putting away a boatload of money. Like you're putting away almost $60,000 a year right now. So that tells me you don't need so much money to retire because you're not spending that much money. You're just not. So what I think is important to remember is if we said, forgetting about the kids for 1 second in college, because I think that that's one piece of this that is, a little bit of the outlier. But if we're just talking about your retirement, you got plenty of money to retire. I think the question is, because you're going to have $190,000 in pension, I know that that's, it's pre-tax, so you have to pay tax on that, but you'll also have other money. Is it possible that you feel comfortable pulling back on some of the money that you're putting into retirement and redirecting it to your kids? That's the question, and it's a tough one. I get it, because you have, like you said, I've got this cash. You could use the cash. Now, if you didn't want to have the money tied up in a 529 plan, I understand that, but it is so much more tax efficient to do that, right? So even if you said, of the $100,000 you have in cash, is there some level that makes you feel comfortable? Like if you said 100 is that's it. That's all I can have is $100,000. I must have at least that. Every extra dollar you can put into the 529 plan. Alternatively, if you just like, that makes me feel queasy, then what I think you'd have to be willing to do, frankly, is to say, you know what? Let's see how things roll. We have money. We can tap the money. We can use some of our money in cash. When the kids are ready to go to school, your 15-year-old is only a few years away. You pull back on the amount of money you're putting into retirement. You use that money to help pay for college. Okay. And you can do that in real time. You can literally do that in real time. It may be a problem for the 7-year-old because we got 10 years to go and I don't know what's going to happen. And so that may be a case where we say, worst case scenario is if you had to pay for college and the kid doesn't go to a state school, you could sell the rental property and you'd have the money to pay for school. You could easily. So it really is a comfort level thing. You know what I mean? Like, this is such a strange situation because it is a situation where, you really are fine for retirement, but to preserve your options, you don't necessarily want to do the 529 plan. I get it, but it is a more efficient way for you to save for college. That's the piece.
That is a great plan.
And so do you think that you would be able to, do you think you'd be able to sell the rental property? I'm not saying you will have to. I'm just saying, would you be willing if you had to?
Yes, I can sell the rental property.
Okay.
When they need to go to college.
All right. Well, listen, we'll see. Do you have wills and powers of attorneys and healthcare proxies?
Yes, I do. I have estate planning. So both property under a revocable trust, family trust.
Fabulous. Okay, this is all good. Again, you can take some of the cash, you can put it in the 529 plan. If that makes you feel queasy, don't do it. If you can also pull back on the amount of money, your pre-tax contributions, you can pull back on that a little bit. And you can see when the time comes, when your 15-year-old is ready to go to school. If you'd like to help pay, that's fine. And you can always sell the rental property. You got $250,000 in equity right now in that rental property almost. And I know you just refinanced it, but listen, maybe also that maybe the income will increase. Maybe you'll take in more income than the house costs you. And if that's the case, you can start using that money to put money into the 529 plan. But I guess the best news is that because you have a 15-year-old and a 7-year-old, they're not in school at the same time. So you're going to have a different game plan when each kid is ready to go to college. If you are okay pulling back on putting some of the money in the 457, even if you said $500 a month, like you're putting a lot of money away, you guys, of $60,000 or $58,000 that you're putting away. If you said, you know what? We'll put $40,000 a year away and we'll take $18,000 a year and put it into the college accounts, I would be fine with that. You have to be fine with that, though. You really have to be fine with that.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan. And I was concerned also, because I have some other investment into the brokerage account and all those investment is in a variety of account. Should I just combine those accounts into one account?
Wait a second. I missed that one asset. I missed it. Okay, so what do you have in brokerage accounts?
In a brokerage Vanguard, I have 135,000. In Fidelity, I have 30,000. And in TD Ameritrade, I have 24,000.
Which one do you like the best?
Vanguard, but then Fidelity, I use it to buy a fractional share.
Just take the 30 and the 24, bang them out. Get rid of those and put that in the 529 plan. Let's stop messing around here. You don't need to be buying fractional shares. You're putting money at risk. It's just that it's available to you. I'd rather you put the money in the 529 plan. I really would. That gives you $54,000. Maybe it's 40. Maybe you'll have, after you pay you pay some taxes, whatever, you have $45,000. So split the money and put the money into the kids' accounts. And let's stop with that nonsense. Okay. Let's get these kids' accounts beefed up a little bit. And if you have extra money, you can put the money into it's funny, you're willing to buy fractional shares, but you don't want to put the money in the 529. I know why, because it's a liquidity issue. You're scared that if, God forbid, you needed the money, the brokerage account is yours. Once you put it in the 529, you don't want to pull it out. I get that. But we got to get you over that, because the 529 is so much more efficient as an investment vehicle for you and for your kids. It really is. There's no tax due.
I do have another question. 529 I have currently with New York 529. Should I roll it over to Vanguard as well?
Just stay in the New York plan. It's a good plan. Okay. How about Kay hiding her brokerage account from us, Mark? I mean, that was a little bit of a bury the lead. All right, Kay, I feel good about your retirement. Pull back a little bit on the retirement stuff. Let's get the education stuff rocking and rolling. And don't make extra payments on those mortgages. Do not do that, okay? If you would like to join us on the program live, all you need to do is go to the website, JillOnMoney.com. Click the contact button, and we'll do the rest. We'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are here answering financial questions. Next up is Andrew, who's from California. What's going on? What can we do for you?
Over the past couple of years, my husband and I have been able to, we're just in a different situation or a different setup than we were previously. We're kind of in our early 40s. And early on in our careers, we didn't know each other at the time, but we were both in our first jobs out of college, not making a lot of money, and things have changed a bit. Our financial situation is a little different than it was even like 4 or 5 years ago. I think overall, just getting a second opinion on what we're doing, making sure that we're kind of on track for whatever our goals are. But also, I need to shift my mentality, because I think previously I was in such a scarcity mentality. And now that we have a little bit of, flexibility financially, I'm trying to figure out how to enjoy it, or, not kind of always be such a cheapskate.
Okay, first of all, so how much money do you guys make?
So I'm in sales, so 50% of my potential income is based on commission, and my husband is salaried. If I hit my target earnings, our combined incomes are probably around $250.
Does that happen most of the time? I mean, in sales, I know that the commission world is different, but do you feel comfortable like, oh, we do our planning based on 250, or do you do your planning on a smaller number?
I do it on a smaller number. I just recently started a new job earlier this year, so I haven't quite ramped enough to figure out like what the consistent income will be on the commission side. So right now I'm kind of budgeting for 170 plus a little bit. How
about if we say can I say 175 between the two of you? Because I like round numbers. Thank you very much. I'm a very simple gal. Do you guys use retirement plans through work?
So I just signed up for mine. Like I said, I'm new to the company, and we were changing plans, and so I just signed up for mine. So this next paycheck, I'll have that. So yes for that. And then my husband is eligible for a pension. So I love your husband even more than you do right now. Me too. So so his withdrawal, what comes out of his paycheck goes directly to the pension. I've always asked him to sign up for a 401k that he is eligible for, but right now he doesn't do that.
How much are you putting into your retirement account?
So I just signed up, I think it's 10%, and I just kind of want to see where that lands. And I signed up for the Roth option that we have available.
Your husband pension, can you tell me some details about it? Like, do you know anything about it, or is he a locked box, if you will?
He's a bit of a lockbox. I've tried researching. So he works for the university system here in California. And so a lot of that stuff is like public facing. So I've tried to do my own research. You need a math degree basically to try to figure it out. So I don't know. I mean, we could maybe try to project a little bit, but all we know is that there'll be something at some point.
Okay, wait a second. Let me try to do it a little bit. What's his base salary?
We'll just say 85. It's a little bit less, but 85.
All right, so 85. And he's going to stick around in this job, you think?
That is the plan at this point. I think at some point he might entertain the idea of looking outside of the college system, but that's
not until we get to maximum point of that pension. He isn't. Okay. Now I'm buzzkill Jill. All right. So how many years has he been there?
This will be his 9th year. So this will be his 9th year in October.
All right. So hopefully we get to 20 because that's usually when things start to get good in those. Okay. How's your cash flow? How are you guys doing right now?
So right now we're probably running a little bit of a deficit, and that's just kind of because the commission haven't really kicked in yet with my new job, but it's not much. It's probably between $500 and $1,000 a month that we're running at a deficit. I guess that is a lot. It sounds like a lot when I say it out loud.
I just scared yourself. Okay, hold on a second. How much money is in your old 401k?
So a total of about $92,000 total.
And did you roll it over somewhere?
I have one 401k that I haven't rolled over from my job that I left, and that's about $30K. And then the other two I rolled over to a financial planner that we started working with last year, and they manage that, and that's about a $55K.
What did they put you in?
So I think they just kept it as what I already had it invested in.
Okay, good.
So it's just basic, like growth stock, growth in mutual funds.
Okay. And that's the only money that person has, this advisor, this IRA rollover, or is there other money?
There is other money. So like I said, our financial situation had changed over the past couple of years. I worked for a company previously that fortunately and unfortunately really saw I was in the right place at the right time during the COVID, I guess I should say. So
that's awesome. I prefer that to being at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's kind of a weird situation. And I mean, it's weird to feel because it almost feels like survivor's guilt a little bit, right? Like the world went through such a horrible time in the past 2 years, but financially it really changed our lives. So this financial planner manages about $540,000 of money that we were able to come into over the past couple of years.
So that's in a brokerage account, right?
That is it. Yep, exactly.
And is it joint or in your name only?
Joint.
How is that invested? Is it mostly index funds? Is it other stuff you got?
Yeah, so it's mostly index funds, a little bit of bonds, and then some. He has us in a real estate. I don't think it's a REIT, but it's like a real estate, some kind of investment.
Some sort of pooled investment, we'll call
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, great. Where do you live? Do you have a house? Do you rent? What's going on?
So again, because of our situation, we were able to buy a house in a very competitive market in just about a year and a half ago. It was like one of those things where it was just like, I never thought it would happen. And then all of a sudden, like literally overnight, it was, we did. So we took advantage of that. We paid about $885 for our house, put 20% down, and it's currently probably worth around 1.3 to 1.4.
Holy moly, Mark, how do you like that one? So you put whatever, 180,000 down or so. My question to you is, what was the rate on the mortgage?
2.875.
You cannot ever move. I'm sorry to tell you. Oh, do you have kids, by the way? I forgot that.
No kids, and no plans to have kids.
We'll get back to Andrew in just a second. It's Jill on Money. We'll be right back.
.401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
your back. It's Jill on Money, the program that attempts to take the mystery out of your financial life. And it can be mysterious. We know that. If you've got a financial question, all you need to do is go to the website, jillonmoney.com, jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and we'll get you on the air. Don't forget, while you're there, you can subscribe to our new service. It's called Jill on Money Live. Just go to the website. It explains everything. Okay, let's go back to Andrew from California. First and foremost, your old 401k, just roll it into your IRA roll. How much are you paying your advisor, by the way?
Pretty low. I think it's pretty low. So we were actually, so this financial advisor, this is the person that my aunt uses. And so we were able to kind of like household the accounts. I mean, obviously our money is separate, but we were able to take advantage of kind of like what she pays. So I think it's right around 1% or less.
Great. Perfect. So we love your rich aunt. Roll over your old 401k into the IRA rollover. That's number one. Number two is get this cash flow settled. I know you're in a high tax state, but there is no forgetting about your scarcity mindset. Like you've got money in the brokerage account, but you're making even at 175 grand, because I know that you've got a mortgage at 2.875. I mean, you guys, your cash flow you shouldn't be running a deficit, I don't think. I mean, I'm wondering, where do you think that money's going? He has to make a mandatory contribution to his pension. You're putting 10% into the Roth. Where else is this money going? What am I missing here?
It's really lifestyle. I mean, we have, 2 car notes, so we're paying that, but that's, I mean,
how much are the car notes? How much are the car notes?
So I think total, it's like $800 a month.
Do you know what the interest rates are on the actual loans?
One of them is 0%, and the other one is, yeah, me too. The other one is it's a little less than 5%. I mean, it was, yeah.
You know what? If it's less than 2%, leave it alone. If it's more than that, I might say to your advisor, like, hey, what are we making in our money market account? Maybe we should just pay off this car note. Mark, would you pay off a 4.5% note right now with money from the brokerage account?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I would too. You got a lot of money in there, and it just seems to me that would be a good move for you if it's an expensive car note. Otherwise, the car notes will then free you up, right? So how much longer do we have to live with those?
The 0% we just did in about 6 months ago.
The other one, when is that up?
So that's about 2 years old. I think we have probably 2 years left on that, maybe 3. I think we kind of
maybe that would be the one. Maybe that would be the one to pay off if it's a little bit more expensive. What else am I missing? I mean, it sounds like look, obviously, if you're making $250, you guys are rocking and rolling, and I want you to up your 401k contribution to 15%. But I can't have you increase that contribution until you got your cash flow set. It's funny because you're like, oh, you called and I live in scarcity. And I was like, you're making all this money. But, the money goes fast, right?
It goes real fast.
I understand that. So I think that's really all you need to do, because ideally what I want to happen for you guys is, let's say it's a year or two from now. And let's say that one of the car notes is paid off. Now you're at you're maxing out your Roth 401k. Let's just presume that your husband is just going to keep doing the pension and is not going to do a 401k. Just let's pretend that, because it's easier to presume that. This is the status quo. If you have extra money, you can just funnel it into the brokerage account. That's fine with me. I'm really okay with that. But I think that it would make most sense to first use that Roth, max it out. That would be great. And if you go from that moment forward and then you're like, oh, I actually have more money and things are kind of great and, work's been awesome, all that. I mean, you'll be able to save a lot of money. You really will be. Extra money goes into the brokerage account. You're on track to keep making these contributions into the brokerage account and keep moving forward, and you will build this up. I think the big question you guys are going to face, which may not be a today question, is if your husband wants to leave this pension system, we're going to have to really focus on that pension. Because part of the reason I'm not so freaked out about you and your 401k assets is that he's got a pension. But it's not going to be any good to me if his pension comes in, it's, $1,000 a year or something, because he's like, oh, I want to get a new job next year.
No, I agree. I mean, and I think we're on the same page. My husband and I are on the same page with that. And that's basically the same message that we got from the financial advisor. I think overall, though, I still look at the numbers and I'm like, oh my, what are we doing? Like, what's the plan? Where are we going from here?
But isn't your financial advisor doing that for you?
He is. Yeah, he is. And we actually have a meeting with him next week, but we just haven't, the numbers sit on a page, that I log into and look at. And it's kind of just one dimensional. So I think hearing it again is just what I need to hear, I guess.
Good. I mean, because look, I don't think you're in bad shape. I think you're in fine shape. You're in good shape. Okay. But I do really think what's important is for you to be hyper focused on, as you make this transition, to keep a tab on like how the money is getting spent. And then after you are maxing out your Roth, then putting the extra money into the brokerage. Besides that, I think you guys are in good shape. I'm hearing like more anxiety in your voice than I think is probably warranted. Like, you're going to be fine. You make a lot of money. We really want to make sure that you focus on the things that are, like the brick and mortar building blocks of your financial success. All right, we've got one more segment with Andrew. We've got to figure out whether he is doing things the right way. You are listening to Jill on Money. If you'd like more information about us, just go to our website, jillonmoney.com. We'll be right back. You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we've got just a little bit more with our pal Andrew from California. Let's get back and finish up with him. Do you guys have your estate planning documents?
We do. We have a will, and we have life insurance. We have, term life insurance outside of work, and then a little bit with work as well. So
okay, great. That's perfect. What else am I missing?
I think that's it. I mean, honestly, I kind of wrote everything down, and we touched on everything. One thing I do, I guess the question is I have some stocks left over from my previous company that over the next 4 months, they'll hit that like short-term capital gains gate, I guess. And My plan was to cash that out once a month for the next 3 or 4 months. So that's going to free up a little bit of cash. And it sounds like we have a tax credit coming next year. So our accountant said you could cash out up to $30,000 and you basically won't owe taxes on it, I guess, is kind of what
I love that. Understood. That's great. Yeah. So that's great. I mean, one of the things that I think is important when you work at these big companies, even if they're amazing, even if you've done really well, is of course to make sure that you've got your game plan where you're selling it and you're doing it. You're just like, okay, I'm selling the stock, I'm being disciplined, and you then whatever's left, throw it in that brokerage account, move on. Keep going. If you, like Andrew, would like a second opinion, maybe a set of ears and eyes on your situation that's not yours, that's not your broker's, that's not your advisor's, give us a holler. Go to jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button. While you're there, check out our brand new service. It's called Jill on Money Live. For $35, you will have access to quarterly live webinars. So 4 webinars, $35. Our music here at Jill on Money is composed by Joel Goodman. Karen Kranick is our web queen. Mark Talercio is our executive producer. Try to lift someone up today. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week.